Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Magic Center. So let's recite the verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 9. Suhridan mitrari udasina madhyastha dvesha bandhushu sadvasvapi sadhusvapi cha papeshu samabuddhir vishishyate. Suhrid मित्रार्युदासीना मध्यस्थ द्वेष्य बन्धुषु साधुष्वपि च पापेषु समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते. Can someone please read the translation, please?
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, Mataji. Please.
Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest well-wishers, affectionate benefactors, the neutral mediators, the envious, friends and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. No, you may stop sharing the screen too. Thank you. Okay, let's begin. So here, Srila Prabhupada is the blessings of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, and we'll try to discuss on this point of here, speaking of tolerance and equanimity. So in that tolerance, so if we see the qualities of tolerance and equanimity, so these points we see multiple places from the second chapter, the initial verses where Lord says about Dehi no Asmin. So you are not this body or the soul. You have to understand the difference. So further, when he speaks from there, 2.14, 2.15, there he speaks about multiple times about Atita, going beyond. He speaks about dualities, Dvandva Atita and Guna Atita. So he mentions these points of going beyond the three modes of material nature, going beyond the dualities. So he says the dualities arise when we connect ourselves with this body, the body and the needs or demands of the body. We try to cater unnecessary demands when we try to fulfill the greed of the body. The need is fine, but when we try to cater the greed of the body, or when we indulge in sense gratification, that time this point arises that dualities, we get carried away by the dualities. So we should be freed from the dualities. From the second chapter in initial verses of 14, 15, from those verses we have been seeing. And then towards the end of the chapter, second chapter, we see that about Sthita Prajna, a person whose mind and intelligence is stable, it's fixed upon the Lord. So there also he speaks about the equanimity part. So in the third chapter again he says, in the fourth chapter again he says, 4 point, I think, 4.20212 there, Yadricha Labha Santushta, and that he says, Dvandva Tita Vimatsaraha. So he says that we have to go beyond the three modes of material nature. We have to go beyond the dualities. So we have to be satisfied with what we have, to not get carried away by the duality. So sometimes somebody may come and praise us that, wow, we are such a nice person. Sometimes somebody may come and chastise us or criticize us. We should be able to see all that equally. So if somebody is praising us, we should pass on, okay, that's something in devotees, we have that, we find that good qualities that whenever we attend a class, if somebody is praising, then the devotees pass on. This is just Srila Prabhupada's mercy. This is just my Guru Maharaj's mercy. I'm able to speak. So we try to pass on that, whatever praise or whatever good things somebody is mentioning about us, we just try to pass on to the authorities, pass on to Srila Prabhupada, pass on to the Guru Parampara, that this has come by their mercy. Whatever they have spoken or whatever knowledge they have given, whatever is coming from the Lord, I'm just speaking, I'm just reading and presenting it to you. That way it is transferred. The same way when something bad or somebody says bad or something, okay, I'm not so qualified, or I'm not so this thing, I couldn't cover this, or in that way we take the whatever bad, whatever negative it comes, we try to take it upon ourselves, and whatever good comes, we pass it on to our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. In that way, what happens, we don't get carried away by this dualities of happiness and distress. Otherwise, what happens when somebody is praising is, wow, wow, see, I'm such a nice person. I know this, I know this. And we become so excited, so happy when somebody is praising us. Then at the same time, when somebody will chastise or criticize us, we'll become so depressed. So in that way, that wave will go like a wave up and down and up and down. Will never be fixed or will never be able to attain that state of tranquility or the peace or steadiness will never be able to attain. So Lord speaks about that in the second chapter. And the stita prajna should be we should be fixed. Our mind and intelligence should be stable, should be fixed upon the Lord. Then only it can be stable. They we see in the second chapter, initial verses um, 2.14, he mentioned Matra Sparshas Dukante Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada Agama Paino Nityas Tam Stitikshasva Bharata. The non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like appearance and disappearance of winter and summer season. They arise from sense perception. So this dualities it appear from sense perception. When we connect, when we identify ourselves with the body, that I am this body, me, mine, this is mine, that is mine, this is me, and me and mine. When this concept arises, that we are connecting ourselves, we are identifying ourselves with the body, then sense perception, we go behind catering all the greeds of the body instead of catering the basic needs. When that happens, then the sense perception arises, and from this dualities, we face dualities, happiness, distress, all that, and we get carried away, we get affected. So Lord says here, O son of Bharata, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. If we are disturbed by those dualities, we are doomed. We will not be able to progress further. We should be steady. So further, 2.15 says, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress is steady in and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. So when we are freed from dualities, so we are able to tolerate the dualities, and we are at a stage where we are equal towards somebody who's praising us or somebody who is chastising us, insulting us. So in both cases, if we are able to handle the situations equally, when we are able to handle the dualities of this material world, and at that case, what happens is we are eligible for liberation. And further, it says Sukha Dukha Same Kritve. In 2.38, we see that you just fight for the sake of fighting as service unto me. You don't consider the happiness or distress or loss or gain. He says, Labha Labha Jaya Jaya Tato Yudhya Yujyasva. Naivam papam avapsyasi. So you'll never incur sin. So when you never incur sin, that means we are not getting bound in this material world. If we are getting the sin, if we are getting the reaction for pious or impious acts, we have to either suffer or enjoy. So in that way, we'll again be bound in this cycle of repeated birth and death. We are gaining so much pious results. We are getting, so we have to enjoy the results. So then again, you take another body and enjoy the results. Or we are doing so much of sin, and then that results is incurred. So we have to suffer for all that. Then again, we have to take birth. So we are doing this papa or punya the cycle. So we have to we get carried away and we get bound in this material world. We'll be always incurring sin or pious this thing pious or sinful activities. When we keep doing, we have to enjoy or suffer the result of it. So we'll get bound in this material world. If we are freed from such a state where we are able to Lord is saying here, do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress. You should not is a direct instruction to Arjuna that be freed from these dualities, then you can attain liberation. Otherwise, you will incur sin for sure. And further, he says, equipoise, perform your duty equipoised. Yogastha kuru karmani. Perform your duty equipoised. Equally, seeing everything equal, whatever good or bad, we see it equally. In the case of devotees, we see when something bad happens or something, we fall down or as in somewhere we are walking and we are falling down. So in that case, somebody said, "Oh, you are such a nice devotee. You also fell down. You also got met with this accident. You also have this problem." So in that case, we may try to find faults in the devotee, but the devotee's attitude will be like, mostly we see that, personally we can see that or feel that in devotees. They say, by the mercy of the Lord, only this much happened. So something big had to happen. By the mercy of the Lord, that magnitude has reduced, and only this much happened. I'm grateful to the Lord. So that is the attitude of the devotees. That if good or bad, whatever happens, if good happens, we praise the devotees. They say it is by the mercy of the Lord. If something bad happens, also they say it is by the mercy of the Lord. That is a right attitude we should develop. That way, will not be carried away. If you are carried away, that okay, all generally what happens, our inner quality is that something good, somebody is, I did it, it is mine. We take the praises, but we dislike or we don't accept the chastisement or insult. In that case, or somebody is talking bad, we don't like or we don't accept it. The Lord is saying you should not get carried away by both good and bad. So it is just arising by the sense perception. It should not be attached to the success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. It mentions in 2.48. But then 2.56 and 2.57, where Lord is speaking about Sthita Prajna person, how he eats, how he walks, how he sits, all that, his qualities, his nature. When he speaks further there, he says, Dukheshu anidvigna manaha, Sukheshu vigata sprihaha. One who is not disturbed in mind even amidst threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness. So when this problems is not disturbed, or when there is happiness is not disturbed, and is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called as sage of steady mind. So sthita prajna vyakti, whose mind is fixed or steady. Such a person is not disturbed even when threefold miseries, all the problems arise, or when there is happiness, or when there is problems. In the both the cases, he will not be disturbed. Such a person is having a steady mind, he says. Then further 2.57 also he says, in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So such a stage when we obtain, that we are able to equally see everything, good or bad, the dualities, we are able to handle it equally. Such a stage when we acquire, so that stage we can only acquire when we have that perfect knowledge. We see in the third chapter, it says about that Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmana Gavihasini Sunicheva Swapakacha Panditaha Samadarshana. So Pandit, a person who is well versed in knowledge, well versed in the scriptural knowledge or the scientific knowledge, that such a person will be able to see everyone with equal vision. So it says, whether it's a animal, whether treating an animal, treating a human, or a brahmana, or chandala, or a cat, dog, elephant, anything it may be, he'll be able to see everything equally. He'll be able to see everything equally, as in within everybody, Lord is seated as Paramatma. Hridesha Arjuna Tishtati, he says. So he's seated as Paramatma within everybody. So a knowledgeable person, Pandita, you can see everything. Samadarshana, you can see everything, everyone equally. The way he may treat humans, or the way he may treat brahmanas, maybe in a different stage than how he treats the animals, but he sees everyone equally. As such, everybody has the presence of the Lord. All are children of the Lord. In that way, we should be merciful, we should be compassionate towards other living entities, that they are all part and parcel of the Lord. So somehow we have to think of connecting them back to the Lord. So that quality of equanimity, that quality of tolerance is mentioned here. So if we see in the different places in the 16th chapter, when the good qualities, when the Daivi and Asura gunas are mentioned in the 16th chapter, there also we see about this tranquility, equanimity, and all these points we see there. And in 13th chapter also, 13.8, 9, 10, 11, 12, this verses, Amanitvam, Adambitvam, Ahimsa, Shantirarjavam. In those verses also we see about tolerance and being able to accept whether good or bad. We should be able to tolerate, whether gain or loss, we should be able to accept it equally. That from the initial verses itself, we are seeing it is the good or bad, whatever it comes, it is like summer, winter season. The season keeps changing. But what is recommended for us that whichever season it is, we perform devotional service. We do not get carried away. We have to serve the Lord continually. We have to serve the Lord, whichever condition it may be, good or bad. We should be able to continually serve the Lord. So generally, when we come to perform devotion service, initially when we come and chant, we find it very nice. Wow, it's so wonderful, very nice, very nice. We chant more. When we are happy, we chant more. But then when some issues come, we get carried away. Oh, why this is happening to me? I am chanting so nicely. Why this is happening to me? That time we may tend to lose a taste in chanting. We may not chant. So when we have this knowledge, that sufficient knowledge, we have that required knowledge when we keep feeding ourselves, when we read Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, when we recite, when we hear more, when that knowledge enters, then we can understand, we can remind ourselves daily over and over again that, okay, whether good or bad, whatever the situation may be, this is a commitment. I have to chant at when we have that required knowledge, when we have that needed knowledge, when we can follow that. Otherwise, what happens? We just get carried away with, okay, I still am chanting, but still problems, and I'll not chant. And then that may rise up. So we have to, whether it is good or bad, we have to just follow it, just do it. We have to follow it. So for that, we need the scriptures. When we read these, when we read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, when we take the benefit of these great scriptures, literatures, when we read this, recite this, and over again, remind ourselves, then we can stay on the right path. Otherwise, we may get carried away. So you see, Lord says in multiple places, second chapter, third chapter, fourth chapter, he says about being freed from the dualities and being freed from the Dwandva Atita and Guna Atita. He says multiple places. So as I said, to 4.22 also he says, Yadrichalabha Santushto Dvandva Atita Vimatsaraha Samaha Siddhau Asaddhau Cha Kritvapi Na Nibadyate. We have to, who is free from duality. Again, he says duality. So there also he says duality in 4.22. Also he says duality. Who is steady in both success and failure. He doesn't get carried away with success or failure. He sees them equally. Such a person is never entangled in a, he doesn't get bounded in this material world. So that point we have to remind ourselves over and over again that this duality is why these problems are coming, why this not only when problems, this happiness also, we should not get carried away. So in both the situations, we should be able to equally accept it, whether good or bad. So the example is given of a devotee who's daily waking up early in the morning and attending Mangalarti daily, chanting in the Brahma Muhurta. So for such a devotee, whether it's cold or whether it's hot weather, he doesn't mind. He doesn't bother about which climate it is. If he go to North India, there is several temperatures, with several degree will come to zero or negative, or even foreign countries. We see the devotees still they take bath and follow this process. So they don't say, okay, now it is cold, I'll not take bath, or I'll not do this, not do that. In Delhi, Noida, when I was when I was working there and connected to the temple there, Greater Noida. And so I used to attend Noida temple festivals or Delhi temple festivals. Ever since, from going from south to north, for me it was very challenging. But because of the devotee association, because of the uh, everybody's motivation and everybody's this thing, they all given that motivation, and seeing everybody, it gives that boost energy to follow. So in that association, we push each other up. We don't pull anybody down. We push each other up, and in that, I was personally able to experience that. In that cold weather, also, I was not able to get up. Still, and trying to get up. That thermal inner wears, useful, body is packed, and then on top of that, dhoti kurta we wear, and we quickly rush to Mangalarti, then sit and chant together. Then we get that energy. So that comes. So that point is mentioned that Srila Prabhupada gives that example. A devotee is never carried away, whether it's summer or winter. Or same way, a mother's affection for the family So mother working in the kitchen. So she doesn't say now it is summer, you put fan or AC in the kitchen for me. She still cooks in the kitchen. So her focus is that somehow my husband, my kids, my parents or in-laws or whoever, my family should be not hungry. They should be able to eat on time. So whether it is too cold or too hot, she doesn't mind. She cooks in the kitchen. That dedication we should develop. So that dedication so should not be get not carried away by this dualities. So in the sixth chapter now, particularly when we are seeing here, Lord speaks about the yoga rudaha, yoga rukshaha stage, so where yoga ruda, that is the initial stage, yoga rukshaha stage. So here Lord speaks about these two stages and slowly following further. Sorry, yoga rukshaha initial stage and yoga rudaha the for advanced stage. So here Lord speaks about that and further perfection of yoga. He speaks attaining the stage of samadhi. Step by step he's explaining that. So we see different types of yogas he's mentioning, and the final stage of everything is to attain the Lord. So that he's mentioning here is mentioning as the symptoms of a person in yoga ruda or advanced stage. He's mentioning here that he should be able to control the mind, attain tranquility, completely approach the super soul. He should be neutral to all dualities. Sitoshna sukha dukheshu tata manapamanayo. That is mentioned from 7 to 9. We see then he is Suharan, Mitrari Udasina. So he sees everybody equally. He doesn't differentiate whether he's a good person or bad person. Whoever he is, uh, part and parcel of the Lord. So we have to respect him. So we should give the due respect. So we see, as per the scriptures, we get that knowledge, and somebody is higher than us or somebody is more knowledgeable than us. We seek his association or we seek his mercy or we try to get the knowledge from him. We should not be envious of him that why he is having so much knowledge, why this that he has more than me, he has more knowledge than me. No, we be this thing that eager to take his association and learn from him, get the knowledge from him. And uh, our peer level, we be compassionate, we share things with them, we be compassionate towards them, we try to help them progress, and they try to help us, and we, in the peer level we support each other and try to progress. And somebody is junior, somebody is new, somebody is junior to us, we try to be compassionate towards them and we give association, we give the knowledge, we try to help them. But in the material world, material aspect, what happens is somebody who is above us, we be envious of them. Somebody who is on the peer level, we try to compete with them. And somebody who is below us, we try to degrade, we try to ignore them. So that in that way, what happens? We are never bothered about other living entities or other people. We are only bothered about self-centered that comes because of this attachment or this identifying ourselves with the body, me and mind. That way, what happens? We are envious of somebody who is above us, and we are competing with our peers, and we are ignoring the lower people. So in that way, we'll always be focusing on ourselves. We should be compassionate towards all the living entities. We should be able to see everyone equally. And that comes only when we have this required knowledge. When we have this required knowledge, we can cross the stage of being carried away by dualities, good or bad. We can attain the stage of dvandva atita. We can atita. We can go beyond this duality, or we can go beyond the three modes of material nature, guna atita, dvandva atita. All this is possible only when we have this required knowledge. So we have to remind ourselves over and over again. That's why Lord is speaking in the second chapter, he's saying in the third chapter, he's saying in the fourth chapter, he's saying in the fifth chapter. Now in the sixth chapter also we are seeing, should be able to see everything equally, all the dualities equally, and see everyone equally. And the third chapter is Vidya Vinaya Sampana Brahmana Gavesini Sunichaya Sopakicha Pandita Samadarsina. So equally we should be able to see everyone and everything. That is a right vision we can develop. And if we have to get that right vision, Pandita, that knowledge should be there. We should gain that knowledge from the scriptures. Lord has mercifully given us, and Srila Prabhupada has spent sleepless nights to translate and give us all these wonderful literatures in so many different languages. So we have to we have to utilize that. We have to get the benefit. We have to read that over and over again. And Srila Prabhupada also never took it as a personal credit when somebody praised him. Wow, you have wrote this nicely, or why you yourself are reading this. You only wrote all this. You only translated and given all the commentaries and purpose. Then why you are reading it? Then Srila Prabhupada always used to mention, I didn't write it or I didn't do it. It is all by the mercy and the inspiration by my spiritual master, is Divinis Bhaktisan Saraswati Thakur Maharaj and Lord Krishna. It's all by their mercy and all by their inspiration, I was able to do this. So he's passing on the credits. Such a great Acharya who did so much for us. He himself is not taking the credits. Then why should we do that? Why should we take the credits? We should also follow the footstep of Srila Prabhupada and all our acharyas, and we should also pass on the credits. And when something bad happens, we accept, okay, that's by my different inabilities or my limitations. Because of that it happened, or something good is happening, it's by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and my Guru Maharaj, Guru Parampara, it has happened good. So that way we have to speak. In Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter onwards, the second initial part, there we see Shrinvatam Sakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Hridayantasto Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhrit Sadam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge to hear his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So 1.2, 2.17 we see that, and 2.18, that's the Prayesha Bhadreshu. In that, Lord says, by regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam. So the Prabhupada explains that further, very beautifully explains in the purport. So when we attend this, when we hear this Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and when we render devotional service to the Lord, then all that is troubling us, all that problems or all that whatever is troubling to the heart, it is completely destroyed, and loving devotion service is established as a irrevocable fact. And when that happens, tada rajas tamo bhavaha. So the effects of gunas, that raja guna, tamo guna, all the effects is nullified, and we become established in goodness, and further we progress to the Shuddha Sattva stage, the pure goodness stage. Then we develop that urge or eagerness to hear more and more and more about the Lord, and hear and speak more and more about the Lord. We get that connection with the Lord, and we can cross the stage of guna. We can come to the stage of guna atita and dvandva atita. All these stages we can attain. We can attain the stage of tolerance and equanimity. So only when we understand this, not only just understanding, we have to remind ourselves over and over, because this is Kali Yuga. We all have short memory, short temper. Everything is short. Life expectancy is also short. So everything is short, and that we may tend to forget things. So we have to remind ourselves over and over again. So this is a reminder for all of us, including me, that we have to stay connected with the Lord and stay connected with the devotees, and we be freed from the dualities. We do not get carried away by good or bad. Somebody is praising us, giving us the credits, we pass on to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj and Guru Parampara. Somebody is chastising us, somebody is criticizing us. We accept it as our flaws, our four defects are there in human. So the defect is there. So we accept it as our defect, but because this is transcendental knowledge, we are trying to present it as it is, as Bhagavad Gita, as it is. Srila Prabhupada gave it as it is, as it was given by his spiritual master to him. He gave it to his he gave it to this world. So like that, when we follow that as it is, we try to take this knowledge and share it. That is perfect knowledge. If we try to add, if we try to subtract from our point of view, because we have the four defects, we may get the whatever we are speaking or whatever we are trying to share, it becomes imperfect. But when we try to give the same knowledge, when we read this and when we hear all this and try to speak, then we can confidently say, though I have fault, though I have deficient this um, problems, and though I am not perfect, But because I'm speaking this knowledge, this is perfect knowledge. It can be accepted. We can take the credits and pass on to our spiritual masters. Not our bad some thing. We can accept it as because of my flaw or because of my defects it has arisen. So thank you, Prabhu's Mataji, for daily joining and giving this opportunity to remind myself and all of us about the being freed from the dualities and being situated in the equanimity stage or tolerance stage. So thank you, Prabhu's Mataji. Hare Krishna. Let's chant 3 times Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the welfare of all of us gathered here. Please unmute
Hare
your.
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare, Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
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 Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Guru Vrinda ji, Krishna Prabhu's Maji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dhanvat Pranam.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Prabhuji,
Prabhu,
Dandavat
Dhanavad
Pranam.
Pranam. Thank
Prabhuji,
you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Dhanvat
Prabhuji,
Pranam.
Hare
Dhanavad
Krishna,
Pranam.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna,